Am I the butthole for kicking my stepbrother and his friends out after what they did at my engagement party? I, male 30, have a younger stepbrother, Kevin, 22. I let him move into my old apartment and pay cheaper rent along with his 2 other friends because they're struggling with college. Needed a cheaper place but couldn't find. I'd help him out by getting his car fixed, lend him money, and bring him meals. I take care of my mom who's at the hospital. My fiancé and I decided to have a small celebration at a restaurant. 8 people. There were a lot of people I wanted, including mom, but couldn't. I have high blood pressure that, despite medication, gets worse. Kevin wanted to bring his friends to my engagement party. I declined and explained that we're having a small celebration. He was upset but then dropped it. We got to the restaurant. And just as we started eating, I got a call from Kevin saying he is at the hospital where mom's staying. I asked him why and he sounded worried, telling me mom was very sick and that I needed to get there because it seemed like she was having a stroke. I dropped my fork. My fiancé and parents noticed how pale I was. I hung up. And I was getting ready to leave. They asked what was going on. I told them mom was very sick and I needed to go to the hospital. Fiancé wanted to come but I didn't take her. I got there. I went to the nurses who were handling my mom's care and they denied her having any sudden issues, let alone a stroke. I couldn't stand on my feet. I called Kevin several times until he picked up. He started laughing along with the others in the background. I was confused. He told me it was a prank and that I fell for it. He said we're even since they couldn't show up to my engagement party. I started yelling at him until he hung up. My fiancé's parents were calling. I felt terrible because I didn't know what to tell them. It was a prank. My fiancé's family thought I was lying. I kept saying my mom's doing okay. I drove to my apartment where Kevin was staying. Got into argument with him and his buddies. I yelled at them for ruining my engagement dinner and causing me stress knowing I have high BP. I told them to pack their things and move out. Kevin started begging, saying I can't do this over a prank and they had nowhere to go. I told him it wasn't my problem. They kept saying it was a prank and they didn't expect me to react like that. Then they left. My aunt called me saying Kevin was a butthole for what he did but kicking him out was extreme and I was too harsh on him. Eventually, that's my brother and I need to be supportive of him even though he's acting stupid. I take some of the blame, as my fiancé said, because they did things before and I should have stopped them, but I couldn't imagine them going this far. Kevin's mom is deceased. I help him with whatever I can because I know he's struggling. His aunt isn't my biological aunt, but I respect her enough to consider her family. But defending this behavior isn't acceptable. Are you kidding me with this post? I believe you. It's too insane to make up. I have no words other than obviously not the butthole. Obviously not the butthole. My aunt called me saying Kevin was a butthole for what he did but kicking him out was extreme and I was too harsh on him. Eventually, that's my brother and I need to be supportive of him even though he's acting stupid. Let your aunt take his prank ass and then. Let your aunt take his prank ass and then. Yes. Hasn't even apologized. Not the butthole. All this all day. A prank is like calling the restaurant and having the staff ask if Hugh Jass Johnson is sitting with the party. A prank is not calling to say that your already frail mother is having a stroke. I kind of want to say that original poster reacted pretty calmly, to be honest. Not to mention that he missed his effing engagement party for a stupid prank. It's not even funny. Not to mention they did it because they weren't invited to the party. Right? My dad taught me, when it came to pranks, amuse, don't abuse, annoy, don't destroy. Like, how effing hard is that? This wasn't a prank, this was petty, poorly thought out revenge. Wise words, by the way, not to mention he's doing something like that to a person who is literally making you pay less for utilities and food. Never prank someone when they are legit helping you out. Plus, original poster, let your friends stay, that is some kindness no level of human can reach. And you reward kindness with a dumbass prank? WTF. I would have gone full Shanghai sailor. Right? I would have throat punched the stepbrother if they pranked me like that. Well put. Not to mention that with his own blood pressure issues, original poster could have had one himself from the shock. Not the butthole. There seem to be a lot of posts lately about people engaging in so-called pranks that are really cruel, potentially dangerous to someone's physical or mental health, or costs someone money, where families and or friends want to enable the perpetrators to not have to have any consequences for their stupidity. And gang up on the victim. This is never okay. Where is the empathy for the person who was harmed? Why is empathy in society, in general, becoming such a rare thing, coupled with a rise in unacceptable public behavior and entitlement? I'll get off my soapbox now. Commander Cody, talking about apologies, how quaint. I serve the Grand Republic Army, not Jedi Council. Yeah, what type of sick F plays this type of prank, then claims it's to be even for something so damn stupid? Original poster should cut all ties with him. Can you call it a prank if it's to get even with something that wasn't a prank? An increasingly large number of people seem to think that it's just a joke/prank is a way to say, yes, I was deliberately hurting you, but I think your pain is funny, so you're not allowed to get mad about it. Love how you worded that. Excellent. Yeah, my defining line is ask 3 people who don't know the pranky, how many of them find it funny? If 3 people find it funny, it's a good prank. If 2, it's still a prank, but be prepared they might not be happy with you. If 1, it's not a particularly good prank, I'd avoid it. If none, it's just a dick move. Honestly, in my book, if the person being pranked doesn't find it funny, then it's not a prank. I don't understand this weird prank culture that has developed. I've always found pranks cruel, and I've never seen any pranky laugh at the experience of humiliation. People who find pleasure in the humiliation of others are buttholes. Completely agree. I could never even watch shows like Candid Camera and all the others that place people in uncomfortable situations so that others can laugh at their confusion/desperation/humiliation. Confusion, I find funny. The prank where the TV show rolled a box Death Star corridor up to a porta potty and stationed Darth Vader and stormtroopers waiting for people to emerge, hilarious. Desperation and or humiliation? No. Never. Not at all. Or things like Ellen's Game of Games, which strikes me as mean-spirited and probably revelatory of her real personality. See, that's why I like impractical jokers, because 99% of the time they're only embarrassing themselves. I have seen some funny pranks. Like put pocketing, where the goal is to put money into unsuspecting people's pockets or bags. Or where you get a plastic cup filled with water and stand on a chair or something to hold it on the ceiling and look at it in confusion, and then when someone asks what you are doing, you ask them to help out real quick and to just get a broom or something to hold the cup to the ceiling, and then you stand back and laugh at them. But yeah, telling someone that their loved ones are dying is not a prank. That is just effing cruel. Putting little camel figurines all over someone's house is a great prank, or framed pictures of your cat in place of their own pictures. Pranks are not pranks if they harm another person's property, are physically, mentally, or emotionally harmful to someone, ruin a time that is supposed to be happy, engagement, weddings, bonding with a newborn, anniversaries, etc., or is a joke that only the pranksters find funny. If all parties involved aren't able to laugh about it within a short amount of time, it is not a prank and it is just being a bully. NTA at all, and the fact that you reacted with such control deserves much respect. Yeah, it's got to be something that's quickly reversible and not humiliating, I think. I once had a Chinese colleague and friend come up to me at work and literally ask me what an April Fool's joke was. I had to hide my hands under the desk because I was rubbing them together in excitement. I just stayed late on the 31st of March and hid loads of pics of me pulling ugly faces around his desk. I've never seen someone so happy in an office. I recently read material on the concept of abuse culture. The concept of gaining power and clout at the expense of others' dignity because cheap and easy. Abuse culture is basically the reinforcement of a social hierarchy via exploitation of vulnerability. It's how stupid, lazy people are empowered and imagine themselves to be witty and industrious. We need to cancel the living F out of abuse culture. There are some types of pranks or personalities of people that are fun and okay for pranking, but you are right that there is a whole lot of straight-up butthole moves that the internet passes off as pranks. This doesn't even qualify for the latter because he straight up admitted it was revenge. Yup. Rule of thumb for pranks. If the recipient isn't laughing with you after, it's not a good prank. Pranks should be funny and harmless. This was neither. Or the pranky has no sense of humor. In which case that's not the person you should be pranking. ETA, In this case though, the prank is just objectively awful. I really want to full hand slap the crap out of Op's stepbrother just so I can tell him it was a prank. I wasn't actually trying to hurt him when I hit his ear. I'll drive you to his new spot. Yeah, it was retaliation, not a prank. That feels like a much more appropriate description of what happened. I'd say so, yes. The prank should be unscrewing the ketchup bottle lid, or putting their Xbox controller in Jell-O, or something. Your hospitalized mom is dying isn't a prank. Okay, that's fair, and thinking about it I can accept a prank being paid back for a non-prank. For example, I eat your leftovers without asking. You, in turn, grease the toilet seat so I slide off. Exactly. A number of years ago, I had a roommate who used to borrow my DVDs and never put them back. So, I went and collected my movies one day when he was at work and revenge, covered his desk in green army men. I arranged them as if they were invading. Some were scaling the side with floss as rope. Others were forming perimeters, while the main cluster planted a flag claiming the desk as my territory. You take my movies, I claim your furniture with an invading army. I would enjoy your prank a great deal. In fact, I would agitate you on purpose to see you retaliate. LOL. This is the best. It's cute and funny, takes almost no time to clean up, is non-destructive, and gives a laugh to the recipient as well as the pranker. I hate most pranks, but you can army men my furniture any day. I love this. This would have made me laugh my ass off. Great point. I told you something entirely believable with potentially lifelong consequences if you take any time to confirm, and short-lived relatively minor downsides to acting, and you acted on it. Haha, you are so hilariously gullible. I really got you good, didn't I? Plus you kind of annoyed me, so you can't do anything back. You don't get to punish people for not inviting you to things. Not even if you really want to go. And you don't joke about someone's parent dying, especially if they're already in the hospital in poor health. Wait, from the way original poster wrote it, I think Kevin was invited. He was told that he couldn't bring his friends. In that case he wasn't being left out, just his friends. So he was really being a butthole. It would be different if one of those friends was his partner. Not the butthole. It really wouldn't be different even if that was the case, though. This behavior is unacceptable regardless of circumstances. I agree. I'm saying that original poster inviting Kevin increases Kevin's level of buttholishness. You're right. This was not a prank, and original poster should have no qualms about tossing the idiots out. Right? A guy in his early 20s who was obviously immature for that age as well, getting all ass hurt because he couldn't go to an engagement party? What's next, upset he can't go to a baby shower? I think a lot of guys in the early 20s would probably not really want to go anyways. He's upset him and his friends weren't getting free dinner and drinks, along with all the other things original poster normally does for them. I was thinking perhaps stepbrother felt hurt that he wasn't invited to his big stepbro's engagement, but no, I think you've nailed it. He was invited, he just wasn't allowed to bring his friends. Yes. Because there's no other reason why the friends need to be invited too. He and his friends were probably thinking more about free food than about celebrating an engagement. Also, how immature do you have to be at 22 to get all pissy you can't bring your brothers to an engagement party? People have a really effed up way of thinking or not thinking. I just saw an article this morning of a prank vid gone wrong in Tennessee, and the pranker was shot dead for pulling a knife on strangers pretending to rob them. Literally every time I see a post like I'm helping a family member with money / housing / etc. And they did something horrible to me, so I stopped helping them. My family says I need to help them because they're family. I'm always like, if they're not willing to help, then they're not allowed to tell you how to and where your boundaries should lie. Drives me nuts. My thoughts exactly. The "but it's family" card is BS. Family should help family if they act like family. Not entitled jerk sponging of the most caring and kind. Really? The message is family can treat you like crap, but you can't treat them badly. Why is nobody yelling at the kid for how he treated family? Honestly, you should reward people that abuse you? Seriously. This culture of you have to help family no matter how horrible they are to you is so effing toxic, and literally makes people question their sanity. Why isn't she cussing out Kevin, instead of badgering original poster for protecting himself when he's already given so much? Wild crap. NTA, he sounds like a cruel and vindictive individual. Kick him out, cut all ties. Bye Felicia. Ain't nobody got time for silly business like that. Yeah, even he knew this wasn't a funny prank but a vindictive action to get even for what he perceived as a slight, which is also ridiculous. He is just upset that it worked too well, and you were in fact hurt by it. He thinks he's being slighted by the original poster over a dinner while the original poster is subsidizing his food and shelter. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. 22 is too old to kill this kind of vindictive, perfect word, cruel maneuver. All because his friends couldn't come? Beyond childish. Stepbro and his friends probably, definitely, didn't even care about the engagement party. They probably, definitely, just wanted a free meal at a restaurant. Which makes it so much worse as they are already getting a great deal on an apartment. Play stupid games. Oh, not the butthole. Evict him. As a prank. Something that will leave a trail for at least a decade. Ha ha. So funny. And he fell for IT. But really, that's a little petty even for me, petty Patty. But did you have a lease? Hope you did for the liability for the damage they have done to your place, and they will. Hope you don't so you can, by month-to-month rules, get them out ASAP. Change the locks. As a prank. What was Kevin even upset about? That he didn't get invited or that he couldn't bring his friends? Who even brings their friends to their brother's engagement party? What, they're going to a party and there's going to have food and booze, it's no fair that I can't go. I was thinking that Kevin probably had some effery planned for the party too. I can't imagine a ton of 22-year-old college guys that would be that offended at not being invited to a family function. He sounds like the kind of immature, vindictive, low-empathy little crap who excuses everything he does that causes offense as a jest, as if calling it a joke or a prank or satire, without knowing what that actually means, creates a magic bubble that protects the jokester from scrutiny and criticism because they thought it was funny. 22 is too old to be acting 12. The best lessons he can get to correct his ways at this point are going to be the hard lessons. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.